What's up, everybody? It's Jimmy with Trading Decoded. It is November 5th, 2024, Election Day. It's because of this day that I decided yesterday that I wasn't going to trade today, and that was probably because I didn't know what to expect today. I psyched myself out, and that's unfortunate because I told everybody what we should be playing, just like we work on every day in the morning, 9:25, call put scenario. Boy, did the call scenario work out masterfully. Again, I didn't take any trades today because I had made that decision yesterday. If you watch my video, you know that. And the reason is because I've never traded on an election day. I didn't know what to expect. I figured it would be a big news event. Then it dawned on me that because I psyched myself out, I robbed myself of fantastic trades. The chart did what price action would do. I should be able to play the chart without worrying about other things. Now, FOMC days and things of that nature, you can't ignore them, okay? So I think it's not terrible to concern yourself with big events while you're trying to trade, but you just play the chart and worry about other things less, and maybe you'll be able to take advantage of some nice moves. But with that said, let's go ahead and launch said chart, and we could talk about what we were looking at for the morning. The market's still open. We got a couple minutes left. But I want to point something out to you guys. So going into the open was very low volume again, which was understandable. And our call put scenario, if we can get above 570.85, I'd be interested in calls, hopefully to at least our pre-market high. If we get below 570.59, I'd be looking not for much, but barely a 20-cent move down to this pre-market support. Qs this morning, all these things are very important. Taken off straight to the upside. ADD straight to the upside. So there was literally no reason to be considering puts today. And that's the takeaway I want you to know about today. I get asked almost daily, Jimmy, is it okay to trade if you only take puts? Is it okay to trade if you only take calls? Is it okay to trade with a bias? Biases are never good, but they're manageable. Meaning, if you have a put bias, then trade at the times where the chart is trending down. Because if you trade with a put bias while the chart is moving up, you're going to try and time has to be reversal at every new high of day. It's not a winning strategy, okay? So if you know you have a bias of some sort, please wait for the chart to tell you it's time to trade with your bias, okay? Don't think because it's got to go down in your mind that the rest of the market is going to cater to your feelings, okay? I know we live in a society these days that's the way you've got to be. That's a losing society in trading, okay? Follow the chart, trade with the trend, okay? I had a guy today take six losing trades because they were counter trend trades and made up for those 6 losing trades by trading with the trend for his 7th trade. Okay. Now, the reason this big arc is here on ADD is because I started to get asked, Jimmy, first of all, here's the call scenario. We got through the call line. We broke right through pre-market high. ADD, Qs, and everything was on a rocket ship. There was really no reason to get out of the trade. None. Okay. Now, when we got up here, Qs and SPY were hitting resistance. Both of them were near their pink lines. It's kind of like at some point, you're going to stop out if you're trailing it, which is fine. Other people get out at these lines here. That's why all these circles are here. But we found one counter trend trade because this was before we were convinced that the market was going to stay extremely happy. I mean, even look at right now, everything is up. Literally everything is green. And that was pretty much the case since the open. The Qs are up 1.25%. SPY's up 1.15%. NVIDIA's at almost $140 a share, up 2.5%. Tesla's up 3.5%. I mean, guys, don't fight the market, okay? Now, in this case, we broke our uptrend line, we broke support, and we were just looking for it to get to the next support. Very quick counter trend trade, okay? But after that, I was telling everybody, guys, Jimmy, when would you buy puts again? What line would you need to cross to the downside before you would buy puts? I wouldn't, unless, now this was well before, I drew this while ADD was still moving up. I drew this little arc and I said, guys, what we want to see when ADD is doing something like this, before you jump into puts, is a rotation of ADD from up to down. Okay, that would let you know that buying was taking place and then profit taking is following. Let me show you something about ADD today. This is why the word puts never came out of my mouth except for that one counter trend trade because of ADD. Qs never really gave up ground. They pulled back a couple of times, but look at ADD. We started to get a move to the downside, and then guess what it did? Does that look like a downtrending ADD to you at all? Guys, there was no profit taking in the market today. Look at it. Straight up out of the open, and then a casual grind up from there. ADD never rotated to the downside. No selling was happening in the market today. None. Your top 10 was green. ADD was in the plus 1,000 and higher for the majority of the day. It rocket shipped at open. Qs trended up all morning. SPY trended up all morning. Why is puts the thing that you're dying to play? Find a reason to take calls or walk away from the chart so you don't give your money away. Now, again, I was slightly FOMO'd, irritated that I didn't play my own trade setup. But I had said that I wasn't going to yesterday, and for me, it's more important to follow my rules than it is to FOMO into a trade or take a trade I wouldn't be comfortable taking and getting lucky for it. It wasn't lucky. I mean, look, we were breaking for a resistance and we were hoping for a move up. Everything price action wise, this is a trade I would have taken 10 out of 10 times on any other day of the week. Okay? But my internal problem was I decided not to trade today, yesterday. And because of that, I felt like if I do take a trade today, it would be more driven by FOMO, which is not the right reason to take a trade. And lo and behold, I had a whole lot of FOMO because this trade here ended up paying some people well over 100% if they just hung on a little bit. But this was a beautiful move to the upside. A lot of green trades for the community this morning. In fact, at one point, I think we only had 2 reds and somewhere around 60 greens at this point. You're talking minutes into the day, guys. The dream job. Get in, get out. Now, a lot of people who watch my videos say, Jimmy, this is way too aggressive. How do you know which way it's going to go? Guys, I don't care what time of the day it is. You're never going to know which way it's going to go, no matter what. So for me, it doesn't matter what time of the day it is. The reason I like playing in the morning is because I've not been shown any levels of support or resistance on the day other than pre-market. So there's no noise to change my thought process. There's no hesitation because nothing's been proven to fail yet. So my belief is if we're putting in higher lows leading into the open, I'll be ready for calls. And if we cross resistance, I'm going to hope it goes to the next resistance. That's the move I'm trying to catch. I explain this in depth every single day at 9:25. I tell everybody what I'd be doing, what I'm going to be doing, why I'm going to be doing it. And if you agree with those things, then you take the trade as well. If you don't, skip it. If you have rules against trading in the open or in the morning, skip it. But just know that all of the justifications that I'm using to take these trades are the same ones that I use to take a trade not at the open. We putting in higher lows? What is higher lows bad for? Puts. So why would I be looking for puts? Whether it's at the open or whether it's 20 minutes into the day. Lower highs, bad for calls. So I'm not going to jump into calls while we're putting in lower highs and lower lows into the open. Does it mean that the resulting trade is going to work? No, it surely does not. Doesn't mean that at all. But it tells me, statistically speaking, that my odds are better by going with the trend than against it. Now, if you have a bias, it was very difficult for you to consider jumping in on calls this morning. And then if you had that bias and you got a big move up, your bias becomes your biggest adversary. Why? Because you may convince yourself, hey, I should be looking at calls because everything, literally everything is green, right? Wrong. You're going to tell yourself, well, we've moved up so much that if I get in now, I'm probably going to be buying the top. So I better just start considering buying puts, because if I don't think it can go up, that means it can't go up, right? So you start trying to time every top as a possible reversal. And that's dangerous. It's really dangerous because people will come in and they'll average down every time we leg up. They'll hold on to losers for too long, hoping that it's just going to come down. I know for a fact we had a bunch of hold and hopers, and I know that they completely ignored all the things that we learn in this community every single day to get into those puts in the first place. All of it. Whether it's you could have taken the right reasons to get in, right? We were talking about this right here. Guys, this is a pullback to resistance. It looks like a lower high. We're likely to break support. So if you're looking for puts and you're aggressive, this might be your time. The problem is that ADD was on a rocket ship to the upside. I don't think being aggressive while this is happening in puts is smart. So I said I wouldn't be aggressive on this one because ADD is on a rocket ship north. If ADD was moving sideways, perhaps printing some red, okay, it's okay to be aggressive there. But if you got into that trade, where do you get out? We talk about this all day long. As soon as you break the resistance that you bought in on. Could have been the very next candle. You think everybody got out of this? Whoever may have been in this trade, if they were. I don't know of anybody that was. But if you were, do you think they got out after a big green candle like that? No, they probably said, well, we have resistance right here. Hopefully that'll save me. And then you got this candle, you'll say, oh, it looks pretty good. I feel like we might come down from here. This resistance is holding. Let's see. You keep giving yourself hope. Okay. Then you get this candle with no wick on top. You're like, oh, well, we stopped before. Let's see if we can hold. Okay, this red candle's still looking like there's some sellers here. Then you break through. The next thing you're telling yourself, oh, we're close to our next resistance. Let me see what happens when we get there. Ooh, look, triple top. We're going to come down. Maybe I'll get lucky. I'll hold it a little. Next thing you know, you're down so big that you're never going to cut it unless it gets back into profit. But here's the crazy part. If you got lucky enough for resistance to hold all the way up here and we shot right back down to get you break even, you're not getting out of that trade. Why? Because now the pain is gone. The fear is gone. You've lost nothing. You're break even on the trade. Oh, what if it keeps going down? I can make money on this. I have seen so many people hold that trade back to break even after being down 30, 40, 50, 60%, only to let it get right back up to being down 60% and worse because of emotions. Emotions will destroy you in this game all day long. It's not the technicals that are hard about this. It's the emotional side of trading. That's why we talk about it so much in the room. It's not only about the charts, guys. It's actually less about the charts and more about your feelings. Okay? Our feelings will make us do stupid things. I try and be a guy on the microphone to remind you not to let that happen, to explain to you why you should consider stopping out when certain things happen, or why you should consider taking profits when certain things happen. Am I always right? Of course not. Nobody is. But I've learned, not just through my own trading, but through teaching thousands of people and getting feedback from those people, what mistakes they're making. Constantly helping them through DMs, phone calls, text messaging. Jimmy, I keep doing this, and this. How do I make it better? You already know the answer to that. You have to stop doing those things. I can't push your buttons. I can only tell you, guys, we're putting in higher lows, higher highs. That by definition is an uptrend. Pay attention to ADD. Pay attention to the cues. If you want to buy a pullback during an uptrend, buy it when cues and SPY are pulling back to support together at the same time, hitting support at the same time, and ADD is moving up. If those things are true, it's silly not to attempt to try calls there. Okay? Does it mean it's guaranteed to work? No, we've covered that. It does not mean that. But your odds are very much in your favor at that point. Okay? So, I don't have a lot to talk about because I didn't take any trades. All I did was help people get into calls, stay into calls, and then once we start to flatten out, the chart gets not so good. Late in the day, I mean, if you were trying to trade basically, I don't know, you want to call it 12 o'clock into 4 o'clock, it wasn't the funnest chart. And if you played some of these moves to the downside, you could have made some money, but you were basically holding puts in a very, very green market that's never comfortable. And hopefully if you did do that, you made some money. Hopefully you were able to time when to get out, right? Support levels, just look to your left. Every level we have made as a higher low on the way up are going to be potential problems on the way back down. If we break through those levels, look for it to head down to the next level to your left, right? Each one of these guys right here are support levels. And every one that we break coming off of lower highs, assume it's going to get to the next one. Never assume that you're going to time the top for this epic reversal. Sometimes you'll get lucky enough to do so, but assume that when the entire market's green, wait for ADD, guys. This is what I want you to take away from this video. Wait for ADD in this case to pull back. Look at this. This right here is not a seller's market. Look at it. It started at minus 200-ish, minus 225, and ended at positive 1700. That's a lot of buying. Oh, but Jimmy, I hear that this is a Kamala, they're pricing in a Kamala win. Let me tell you something about that kind of news, guys. Whoever wins, Trump or Kamala, the stock market, whatever it does, whether it's green or red, is going to be attributed to or blamed on the winning candidate. Doesn't matter. Okay? So don't psych yourself into believing that because Trump won, it's guaranteed to be an up market or a down market. It really is going to depend on what news station you watch. Right? The fact of the matter is, big money determines which way the market's going to go. Not us, not the news stations. When big money's ready to make it go up, it's going to go up. When big money's ready to take profits and make it go down, it's going to go down. All right? Now, I'm being asked also, Jimmy, what do you think tomorrow is going to be like? I have no idea because I don't think we're going to get the election results tonight. So I kind of believe that maybe the market's going to stay relatively flat until we know who's going to win. The market does not like surprises. It doesn't like uncertainty. Then we have an FOMC on Thursday where we're likely to get another quarter-point hike or cut. Okay, that's already priced in. The market's expecting that. But we'll have to see how it goes. Guys, don't get yourselves involved with the news cycles. I don't watch the news. And the reason is because the news or other YouTubers or whatever create a bias for me. That's not their fault. It's my fault. So I avoid having that problem by trying to avoid watching headlines, watching YouTubers. It depends on who you watch. If you watch Meet Kevin, this freaking market should have been down to 0 3 years ago. I mean, not Meet Kevin, Johnny Bravo. If you watch Meet Kevin, he's pretty good. Meet Kevin's got a lot of great information. He's very bullish, and gotta say, oftentimes he's right. But again, some people watch that, and even on a red day, they'll sit there and keep buying calls. Okay? Whereas Johnny Bravo fans are sitting here trying to time the top of every new high of day because the market's going to crash tomorrow. So try, if you know that these are issues for you, do yourself a favor. Avoid putting yourself in a situation to create the issue. I know where my shortcomings are. I know that watching headlines and trying to, it's like trying to trade earnings. Okay? You'll think Tesla's going to beat earnings, and so you're automatically sold on calls. And I know many people, including myself, who try to play earnings oftentimes get burned, myself included. So I don't play earnings anymore, right? It's the same thing with the news. Depending on what you watch, who you watch, you will create a bias and you will make trading, day trading, more difficult for yourself if you do. All right, so I know there's probably not a lot of useful information in this video for you as far as today's chart goes. However, take away the fact that Q's, ADD, and SPY, especially in the morning, rocket shipped up for the good portion of the morning, and then ADD never gave up any ground. It continued to move up all day long. That's not a put market. Okay? So with that said, I hope you found some useful information in this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to join our Discord community, we'd love to have you. There's a link down below. First week is completely free. You don't have to sign up for anything. Just show up. That will change come January because, well, there's a lot of fake Jimmies that pop up in there trying to pretend that they're me, and they try and scam you. The only way I could put an end to that is by making it no longer accessible for people unless they go through a certain channel, which is what's going to happen in January. So I hope you all had a fantastic day today. I hope your candidate of choice wins. Go Trump. And then that's that. We're going to get up. We're going to get to work tomorrow. And hopefully the chart provides us something like today in one way or the other. So we can make some money. I hope you all did well today. Till tomorrow. I love you guys. See you.